So Vanessa, welcome to my Telecom Stars in car hot seat. Are you
Thank
ready
you.
for an interview?
I'm very much ready for an interview in a limousine. This is very exciting.
I know, it's my favorite setup.
I love it. This is very unusual for me. I don't think I've ever done an interview in a limo before, so I'm enjoying the experience.
So thank you for accepting this interview. I know you're busy. It's Capacity, it's in full flow. So thank you for taking time off of your busy day.
Well, thank you for inviting me. I'm happy to be here.
So Capacity Europe, it's one of the biggest conferences of the year for the telecom industry. What key topics are being discussed today on the show floor?
So this is a bit of an anomaly for us this year because every year we normally cover a range of different themes that are relevant to the entire digital infrastructure landscape. But this year, if you've caught any of the keynotes this morning, you'll see all anyone is talking about is AI. So we're talking a lot about generative AI, we're talking about the future of work, we're talking about the impact that AI is going to have on the workforce. And for us in particular, we're talking about how AI is going to impact our sector and the telecoms industry in particular. So that is taking, all of the attention this year, which is no surprise because AI is the buzzword of 2024. But yes, it's transpiring across every single panel discussion and every single presentation on stage so far.
Okay, I think that's very interesting. I think there's a lot to talk about when it comes to AI. So it's great that you're focusing on that this year.
There is. I mean, when you're talking about AI, you can talk about internal processes, or how companies are actually internally managing AI across all of their different teams and all of their different departments. You could talk about network optimization. You could talk about AI in the context of managing fraud. But equally, we're also talking about the risks. And actually, it was mentioned in the keynote chat show this morning by one of the C-level executives. But there is a lot of risk as well around AI and how we're going to be managing that over the next couple of years. And I don't think companies are really prepared for that yet. So I think this year is, every year at Capacity Europe, we always expect everyone to really be heavily focused on the networking. And this is the first year I've seen a standing room in the conference because I think everyone's really eager to find out more about how to manage this going forward.
And you just talked about the networking. As I said, Capacity Europe is one of the biggest conferences of the year. How do you remain relevant? Because the industry is changing and it's going to change more and more, partly with AI and everything, other new technologies coming in. How do you remain the networking hub of the industry?
Good question. So I think for us, it's all about diversifying our audience. If you look back at what Capacity Europe was 10 years ago, we were still predominantly an event for carriers doing business and selling and buying to other carriers. We had a lot of voice and SMS service providers at the event. Whereas today, we're talking about everything to do with digital infrastructure. And so I think it's about making sure we have all the different components of digital infrastructure at the event, and that might be subsea, terrestrial, satellite, towercos. And so they all need to be a part of the conversation. But back to your point about AI, I also think it's about making sure we've got the right solution providers in the room as well to help us cater to the future of artificial intelligence. And we don't really have that many of those companies as part of the conversation yet today, because I think the carriers in particular are still trying to figure out what AI is going to mean for their services. But I think if you look at our event in 2-3 years, it will probably have a wide range of new companies on site who will be able to actually talk to our customers about AI and how to implement those services into their company.
So I like to ask questions about crystal balls. I like to look into people's crystal balls. So if I looked into Vanessa's crystal ball in 10 years' time and I looked at the Capacity Europe conference, what would I see?
Ooh, I like the crystal ball question. So again, I think the audience is going to change dramatically in the next couple of years. And that's because we are in quite a pivotal period of change at the moment. And it's quite funny because it's quite cyclical. Every so often, we think about when the iPhone came out in 2007, that was a big period of change. And then we talked about content service providers like Netflix, launching their TV solutions. That was a big period of change. AI is going to be a big period of change. And I think that's going to change the landscape of, you know, who comes to our events. If again, you look back 5-10 years ago, we didn't really have companies like Netflix and Meta and Google at our events. They're all there today. So actually, if you think about who's going to be at our events in 5 to 10 years, I think it's going to be the companies that are leading on automation and AI. And I think that's going to change the makeup of who we have networking with each other on site. We are heavily reliant on our customers being open and transparent with us. And we hear you. We hear that there's a lot of change coming. So we are ready to embark on that change with you.
Oh, it's lovely. Thank you so much, Vanessa, for a great interview. I'm so happy you accepted to come on my hot seat in the hot limo.
Thank you for having me. This has been really exciting, and I'm enjoying the drive as well. I'm getting the views of London at the same time.
Yes.
So.
Well, thank you very much, Vanessa, and good continuation of the conference.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it as well. Thank you.
Everyone, thank you for watching, and until my next Telecom Stars in Cars HOTShot.